But wait, there's more. We haven't done one of these in a while, but my rationale for it is this. A lot of the things I'm going to talk about right now are sort of variations of what I've already talked about in Full Disclosure number 51. If you haven't watched that yet, you should probably go back and do that. And because I try to keep the tone pretty light on the Comfortably Platinums, I didn't want to do a couple of these stories as a part of that. So yeah, this one's going to be, I'm going to be cussing up a storm and ranting and raving, and also talking about the Dark Side of the Ring from Benoit, about Benoit last night. And it's just not the tone that I want for Comfortably Platinum. All right, let's just jump right into this bad boy. I'm not going to bury the lead. So many people sent me stuff about this, and thank you if you are one of those people who did. But let's just put this bullshit up here. What is that? In case you can't see it for whatever reason, I'm just going to put up all the graphics right here on this side so people can read it. And so it's like a real news show. But this is not real news. Yes, How to Make Money in Bad Times, hosted by Paul Lee. His web seminar, How to Make Money in Bad Times. Service fee, how much is that? $99. And this bitch is one. Oh my God, $99. So for Paul Lee, who, and this is just me, for my disclaimer, this is just me just guessing. I'm going to guess that the restaurant that Paul Lee opened, the wrestling themed restaurant, is not doing well right now, which is not his fault, and certainly nothing to gloat over, but I know there's going to be people who say, well, like, but I admire his hustle, right? If you can get a bunch of suckers to pay $99 for him to just pop off at the mouth in a web seminar, more power to him, right? And if that's your opinion, great. But it's not going to stop me from showing more stuff. So this is the one that a bunch of people sent me, right? Ludicrous. All right, let's go to the next one. Pop. Great. So tonight's live will be at 6 p.m., not 4. Making Money in Bad Times Part 2. Text yes if you will be watching. So he can't even be on time for his shit. You're bilking people out of money already. Weird. It is what it is. I mean, again, Paul Lee can't even be bothered for the people that he has suckered into signing up for this thing to be on time for it. I don't know what that tells you. It would certainly put a fucking alarm bell and a red flag in my eyes, but you know, I guess a sucker is born every minute. But look at this text exchange that somebody else sent me. By the way, the people who are sending me stuff to put up, whether it's videos or pictures for Comfortably Platinum or stuff like this, I mean, thank you so much. It's just a lot of fun, and it's great to be able to kind of spread the word in our little world. So yes, 45 minutes away. So right when Paul Lee put that thing up of like 45 minutes away, and Charlie Baker goes, yes, and Josh, yeah. Paul Lee goes, it's 6 p.m. We'll be get going in just a few minutes. What? Okay. And then somebody goes, an hour later, after, keep in mind, he said, it's 6 p.m. We'll be get going, Jesus Christ, in just a few minutes. And an hour later, Josh Nance messages, Paul Lee, you getting on? Because clearly it was well past a few minutes. And good old Ollie Hutchinson says, what's the deal? I ain't got all night. Oh, Ollie. And then Penny Robinson, even after all of this exchange, goes, I got my ticket. Woo! And that's the one that the person circled for me. Like, can you believe this bitch? Is it illegal for Paulie to do this? No. Is it definitely buyer beware? Yes. If you're getting nothing else out of this whole thing with CV and all the rest of this stuff happening, if there's no part of you that this bothers you, that Paulie is, let's just be honest, hustling people out of their money and then can't even bother to live up to his own word in regards to doing this thing on time. I don't know if that doesn't bother you on any level, more power to you, I guess. But as for me, man, is he a piece of shit. And I said last night on Tipping Point that something that I hoped, that a good thing that I hope happens after we've been sort of deprived of pro wrestling, that wrestling fans as a whole who have become an incredibly combative, take the show over, shit on this thing that they supposedly love. That's a lot of modern wrestling fans that maybe they'll curb some of that bullshit when they come back, and at least there'll be some kind of honeymoon period. At some point, will everybody at large just call out horseshit when they see it and not fall for this bullshit? I hope so. I hope once resources are in shorter supply that people learn to value them a little bit more, and to not give such a wide berth to guys like this who clearly just see other people as a resource in which to use and abuse. Woo! Oh boy. How many people voted for him for mayor? And so it was in the mid 50s, right? Whoever those people were. Jesus. Last night, Vice had the second part of the Benoit Dark Side of the Ring, and it was fantastic. It was fantastic. I thought even finding a way to end it on a high note of reuniting David with Nancy's sister was beautiful and wonderful. And I think everybody who participated in this, Jericho, Jim Ross, Chavo, not only did a great job, and not only did the person who edited this and produced this and put this together do a fantastic job, I think they all came across really well in what was a horrible situation. Two things that I hope come of this. One, all the weird conspiracy theory wrestling people. Hopefully we'll just eat a dick and die about this, right? Kevin Sullivan didn't fucking kill them. There isn't some kind of like giant conspiracy to besmirch the good name of Chris Benoit. Everybody was very honest and nuanced in their approach in discussing this, particularly Jericho. And the other thing that I hope that people get out of this is that wrestling has changed and the demands are less. And that's probably a good thing. There is a cost to that. I don't think pro wrestling will be as good on one level as it used to be. I don't think that's simply possible. I think the culture has changed too much. I think there's more of like a work-life balance going on in the pro wrestling industry that I think is really great. But the cost is if you're not a fanatic and obsessed, generally you're just not going to be as good at something. Is that a price that I think is we should want to be paid? I think so, but it is a sort of acknowledgement of reality. Oh, and by the way, Randazzo, a guy that I wrote with on many a website, big and small, was very prominent in the second hour of The Dark Side of the Ring about Benoit. He's the one that they just sort of went to. He was the exposition guy. He was just like, let me fill in these blanks really quickly as far as the investigation went, as far as the timeline of events, like the Bible was put where, and just all of that logistical stuff went to the guy who wrote this, Randazzo. And it was really great to see him. It was really great. We didn't chat it up long before this thing, but we did. It's amazing. I mean, he was 14 when we wrote together on the websites, and this was like the late 90s, right? Mid to late 90s. And he was always just had a head for wrestling. And then when he became a writer, a lot of the people that I wrote with mocked him, right? Like, oh, he's not going to make any real money. He's not going to make and he was writing about like this New Orleans gangster. And the book was great. I fucking got it. And in fact, as I went through some boxes in my garage, I found this magazine that he wanted to do and he wanted my input on. And of course, this was right before like print media fell through the floor. So he never got the funding for it. But, you know, it was great to sort of catch up with him. And we're mostly chatted back and forth about how's your family stuff. Like we weren't really just, you know, but he was on there and he was on there prominently. And you got to keep in mind that this guy really is a Benoit expert. He was writing this, the what would become Ring of Hell. He was doing a book about Benoit in general. And then the incident happened with Benoit and Nancy and Daniel. And then he just incorporated it into the book. So he had already done that. This wasn't let me spit this salacious book out in order to take advantage. This was, I was already writing the book and then this incident happened and I've already done the research that can explain how all of this came about. Boom. And he put out Ring of Hell. It's one of the few books. There's a couple people, prominent people in the wrestling business, I won't call them out by name, who have admitted to me that they don't really read wrestling books unless they're mentioned in them. But everybody, to a man and woman, has read Ring of Hell. It says something. All right. Next story. Let's put up the poster. Now, I understand one of these matches is not happening anymore, which is the Brooklyn Danny Jordan match, if that's right. But it seems like almost all the other matches are happening. Southern Honor on April 10th is going to record a wrestling show. Obviously, there's not going to be a crowd there. They're going to do everything well within guidelines and in light of CV and all the rest of it. But enough people have thrown in money that it's the money that gets thrown is going to be divided amongst the wrestlers. I think it's a really great thing that they're doing. And they're still going to manage to put on a wrestling show. And judging from the fact that Dylan is a part of this thing, I imagine that they're going to have all kinds of creative bells and whistles in there. In fact, here's my prediction. I think their show will be better than the Raws and the SmackDowns that we are seeing, and much more akin to the AEW shows that we are currently witnessing. That's just my prediction. Anyway, best of luck, Southern Honor. And our last thing is a tipping point. Last night absolutely fucking ruled. Jeremy Vane called in, and I'm going to be honest about something. When Larry told me that Jeremy Vane wanted to call in, I was like, I was wrong. Matt Hankins, of course, is brilliant and funny and quick as always. And Jeremy Vane came in and he came in ready to play. And we had a great time, told a bunch of wrestling stories, asked some poignant questions, had some things to say about the serious state that pro wrestling in the country and the world is in right now. We didn't shy away from those things, but that was definitely not the hammer that we constantly kept swinging throughout the show, it got incorporated into what I thought was a very, not only informative show, but a very fun show to do and hopefully to listen to. So please go ahead and check it out. I saw where Huckabee on the Wrestling Nerdcast, they were trying to do a thing where wrestlers could come in and get their 5 minutes to sort of put over their shit, and not a lot of people took advantage of it, and Huckabee was very upset about it. I can understand it, and and they're going to try it again next week, and I imagine a whole bunch of more people will take advantage of it. Hopefully that's the case. Anyway, this has been But Wait, There's More, number 12. Have a great day, and I will try to have a different video up tonight, either Comfortably Platinum or the first match from continuously volatile wrestling. Have a great day, everybody.